This is Lee with 82 Game and 12 here with YouTube channel Central Liver 75, and I'm doing a playthrough comparison of the Battle of Monmouth with SPI and then GMT. So we've got the SPI and then we have the GMT, which is the Battles of the American Revolution series, designed by Mark Miklos. And the SPI, this came out in 1982 in magazine. And let me find it, there we go, credits and so forth. So we've got the game design is David Martin, Leonard Millman, Eric Lee Smith. Now, Redmond A. Simonson is responsible for physical systems and graphics. Now, I don't know specifically what physical systems are referring to, but you see a lot of similarity between this system and the Wellington's Victory, which was Frank Davis was the game designer. But Redmond Simonson was involved. He was the physical systems and graphics in the Wellington's Victory. And also you have, of course, Ney versus Wellington. So there's a lot of similarity. It's almost like this is like a sister game, or well, I don't know if you could say sister game, but it really has a lot of the same mechanics, dealing with fire combat, shot combat, and so forth. And even the counters look the same, and the maps. So that might have to do with Simonson, maybe. But I'm kind of disappointed that SPI didn't do more American Revolution battles using this system. I think it's a very clean system, tactical wise, and I just wish they had created more. You know, seems like there might be like a Camden or Cowpens or something, I thought, out there, and I might even have that somewhere. I'll have to look. But so I had to do some adjusting on the scenario, which was Lee's advance. But on the SPI, and I'd already discussed this, but for those that maybe are just joining in, I had to adjust where the colonials set up, because and also the time frame. The scenario was supposed to start at like turn 5 or 6, which is 1140, and by then it should be Lee's retreat, not Lee's advance. So the whole scenario, I think, or just really the timetable shouldn't start at the earliest you can start is 10:30. Well, the battle started. the first shots were fired well before 10:30. And if you're playing from the start of the grand scenario, your troops are going to be way on the other side of the map over there, and they're going to have to march across here, and the timing's all off. But there's just not a lot of detailed information that can be found on this battle, which is known as the longest Revolutionary battle. And if it's the longest, it's like you would think, well, there'd be, a lot of information specifically about what was going on, but it's kind of just like the books just kind of want to briefly talk about the battle and move on. But I've placed the Colonials in a position to the general areas of where they were from the information I could gather. And I talked about the different books that I had pulled out and looked at and so forth. So, and also it compared, I put it in comparison to what GMT has. So, even the historical information they give in the magazine isn't matching up with what they're trying to do in the scenarios in the SPI. So to me, the SPI's got all of their scenarios are just, there's no way you can recreate the battle the way that they have it, the chart, the time chart, and all that. So we just work around that. So, but the system itself, I think, is a really great system. And so we have already went through the first turn, and in the magazine, the Lee's advance is supposed to start like at turn, I think 5. Yeah, 5. Well, we're starting way back at turn 1, which is at 10:20. And each turn is 20 minutes. So we're advancing to the second turn. And we had some shot combat here on the British left, and the Colonials lost a battery of guns, and they had a unit that routed, and then a unit that's disordered. So that's where we're at. And so the Colonial player is the first player each turn. And the Colonials receive 5 victory points if they control the Monmouth courthouse at the conclusion of the scenario. And then the British receive 5 victory points if the Colonial player controls none of the road hexes. And then the other thing is you're getting points for eliminating units. So capturing leaders and so forth. So the road hexes we're talking about are going to be these road hexes here. So I think it's from somewhere in here. Let's see specifically. 5422. So yeah, from this hex here, all the way to this one here, to Colt's Neck. And Colt's Neck is, I think it's going toward Shrewsbury and Middleton. So each hex is 100 yards. So there's a different size difference, scale difference between the two games. All right, so we're in the second turn. And so now we take a look at the sequence of play. Back over here. Should have just copied that out. Okay, so we have the command phase. Phasing player examines his units to determine which are in command and which are out of command or isolated. So, and then the Player expends activation points from his army leaders to activate brigade leaders and combat units. Now, Wayne here is always in command. He doesn't have to receive an activation. And units that are part of his command, he's got like the advanced guard, they are in command if they're within his command range. And then units that are in Lafayette's command would also be in command and activated if they're within Wayne's activation command range, which is 3. And that's because Lafayette was given Wayne's command, and Wayne was given this advanced guard. So that's a special rule there for that. All right, so we're going to take a look here. We've got Lafayette right here. Okay. Here's Lee, and we have to roll for Lee to find out how many command points he's going to have. Okay. So here on this table, we're going to roll. I rolled a 3. Okay. A 3 means he gets 2 activations. So he can activate 2. So I guess I'll put a 2 out here. I guess I could put a 2. I could put one of these out here. So I know that he's got 2 activations. All right, so we don't have to give an activation to Wayne. And Lafayette, Wayne is within range of 1, 2, 3 of this unit. Now, I don't believe that they, if they're beside another unit that's in command, that they're in command. I don't believe that's the way the command rules work. I do believe you have to actually be in command range. Let me find that. That's going to be, here it is. Okay, so a command radius may not be traced through lake hexes or enemy combat units. So it says that that the leader's combat units are in command if they occupy a hex in that leader's radius. So it doesn't say anything about being stacked beside. While in some games that applies. So now activation is important because in order for a unit to move adjacent to an enemy, to move into their zone of control, and to shock attack, a unit, the command has to be activated. So Lee has 2 commands, so he's going to put Lafayette in command because, of course, Lafayette's right here engaged. He needs to be able to attack and so forth. So, or, possibly he may need to pull back. So that's one command. And where are the command, out of command markers? Are they in here somewhere? Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay. And I don't know if they gave you, like, activated. That's isolated. No, you don't really have activated. You just, I guess, have to know. Um, so Wayne's activated. Lafayette's going to be activated through Lee, and then Scott is within range. Now, I do believe if units are in like a march column or something, that they are in command if they're adjacent. So you could have a string of units that are in march, and they're all in command. If one of them is in command, then all of them are in command. But so we're going to have Scott's going to be activated, and then Lafayette, and we've got Wayne. Dickinson over here is not going to be activated, and neither will Maxwell. So they're just not activated. They still have their movement potential, and they just can't move adjacent to or into an enemy zone of control or minimum. They call it minimum fire zone. Not really zone of control. Minimum fire zone. They can't shock attack. So if they were adjacent, then they wouldn't be able to shock attack. So, all right, the next phase sequence is the rally phase for non-phasing player. And the British don't have any units that need to be rallied. So next we have the march phase. Now, before you start moving units, you have the ability to either reface or change formation. So you can change the formation, or you can reface units. Now, if you reface within a minimum fire zone, then the unit can fire at you. And this unit, of course, needs to reface. So as they reface and turn, okay, they're going to get fired on. Now they're in that that village there. So okay, so do I have my? Yeah, I do have them. All right, so all right, so we've got these units here. Okay, and only the top unit is allowed to fire. It's an independent unit in line, and it's actually light infantry. Okay. So they would be an open line, and they've got a strength of 4. And the target, okay, I guess the being in the village isn't going to give them any kind of benefit. But the unit was turned facing this other way. So that would be into their flank. That would be an infiled target. Normally, colonials they would be an open line, but they're being fired into their flank, and there is no benefit of being in the. I guess the village has no effect whatsoever. So, okay. So we roll a die, and we've got firing unit is let's see, it's British. Okay. Well, we rolled a 5, and that's going to be a disorder. Okay, so they're going to get disordered. All right, so they're still able to, I guess, still able to turn, but of course they're disordered. Okay. And of course now they're uh, so I will go around and make and do all of the formation changes, all of the uh, facing changes that I want to make before, because that's a free change. Didn't cost any movement to do this. So with these batteries here, yeah, this one wants to turn like so, and the unit underneath. This unit will stay as it is. This unit here is going to turn like so. This unit's okay. Okay, so we know we had 2 activations. Nobody needs to change there. So if we pull back, we don't have any changes there or there. These guys changed to line. Yeah, they want to change. These guys are going to change formation to line. And so will these guys here. And the unit behind right here will change. Okay, so now we do our movement units that we want to move. And so, of course, this unit Want to move him into this spot here that just opened up. So 1, 2. And well, Lafayette's going to move over here so he can rally that unit next opportunity. And then that's all we want to do with those guys. We have Scott here. He's coming up the road. These units are going to split up. So we've got movement of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 going there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 with that unit. Those are pretty weak units. They got a morale of only a 2. 1, 2, 3, right there. Scott will be, let's see, he better go there. And this is his. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just stack together for the present time. All right. Wayne. He's going to hold the line there. Marshall, column here. He's actually going to move to this flank over here. Get rid of that. So, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Change facing. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Movement of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Then over here, these guys are pretty weak. They've got only a morale of 1. So we want to be careful how we use them. Now, when units move into woods, they automatically disorder unless they're light units or colonial units. Colonial units, infantry units don't disorder in woods. So woods can be kind of a safe haven for the colonials. It costs 3 to get into there, though. So these units, really, they only have a movement of 3 in line. So 1, 2, let's see. Yeah, they're like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't think the slope, maybe up a slope. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he'd have to go like that. Oops. And my counters, I've seen some other counters that look to they have a lot more. They show the line, okay, here at the bottom to designate that the counter is in line. I have to kind of mine. You can't hardly see it, so I have to go by just the movement allowance. See, that's one thing about the counters is they're see that's line, but that's some of the counters that I've seen online of playthroughs is it's thick, so they've got more of that showing. And I don't know why mine are like this, but they are. So you just have to use the, look at the movement and the smaller number of movement points will let you know they're in line. So, okay, so that takes care of the movement. Next, we go to reciprocal artillery fire phase. Now, for some reason, the British only have one gun, one battery, right there. I don't know why, but they do. So you roll a dice to see if it's even. Colonials go first, and it's odd. So the British will fire first with their artillery. So here's the artillery unit right here. And, they could fire right here and disorder this unit here. Or they can fire to disorder or possibly route, they could try to route that unit. And maybe take Wayne back with them. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to fire at this unit. Okay, so the range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so 5, that's going to be maximum range. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maximum range. Okay. Target is colonials in open line. So the only way, they've got to get a 5 or a 6 to get a morale check. You got a 6. Okay, so we have a morale check with this unit. They've got -2. Wayne adds 2. Let's see. And so it's going to be just using their 3 there. So we'll get closer. Yeah. So it's this unit right here. They've got a 3. Okay, rolled a 1, so they passed. All right, so now we go over to the colonial side with their artillery. They've got a lot more artillery. So we've got this battery here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here where Clinton's at. where they're going to fire. British are in line. I don't think that's a independent unit. Well, they're all independent, but yeah, it's light infantry, so they're going to be in open line. One is no effect. Okay, then we move to this one. Let's fire at the artillery there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Strength of 2. Got a 3. That's no effect. All right. Okay. Then move over here to these guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think same thing. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 is no effect. And then we have this gun here. They're going to fire here at this cavalry. I think that's a +1 firing at the cavalry. I think maybe not. Maybe there is no modifiers. Oh no, it's just it changes the target class. Okay, so here we are, we're firing at target class 2. So, okay, so we got a range of 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's going to be, let's see, range of 3. That's going to be medium range. Artillery at medium range. Okay, and a strength of 2. All right, and we're firing at dragoons. 4 is going to be morale check. So they have to check their morale. They rolled a 2, so they passed. And that's all of the artillery. So then we go to the reciprocal infantry fire phase. So we roll a die. It's even, so the colonials get to choose to go first. And so let's see here. See, let's check this disorder. guess the morale, the disorder just affects their morale. It doesn't affect anything else. Okay, or it also affects how they take damage, but how much damage they take. All right, so we're going to start down here at this end down here. So we've got this unit here, and they're going to fire on this stack that's right here. And so that's where we're going to start. So we've got a strength of 5. And this is, they're in open line. All the colonials in line are open line. And a strength of 5, they're going to be all the way over here in this column. Target is in line. So we'll come down here. Okay, got a 4. Okay, so they've got to check morale. Now, lose, okay, is going to add a +1. They've got a 5, so you'd have to roll a 6, and they did roll a 6, so they fail. Okay, so that stack is now disordered. Which means, you know, they probably want a shock that unit. Okay, so now the British get a shot, and let's see here. All right, so actually I could have fired with this guy. He could fire it here, but I didn't. You're supposed to start on the end, but oh well. Okay, so there, this British unit is going to fire here. And so what we've got is strength of 7. They're firing at maximum range, so they're going to be in the second column. And the target's in open line. Rolled a 2, no effect. Okay, and then we have the fire back. So we have a strength of 4, open line. Well, it's just going to be maximum range, so they're going to be in that first column. 4, no effect. Okay, so then we have this unit here. It's going to fire. They're going to fire on this disordered unit here. So they've got a strength of 8. All right. So I set a strength of 8 right there. So strength of 8. Any disordered unit, there we go, So when I look at this chart, fire results stable, right there, any disordered units firing, then they're just going to fire on that first column, which is not really going to be too, going to get too many results. So, yeah, they're going to have to roll a 6, roll a 4. Okay, so nothing there. And then now this unit, this disordered, okay, is firing here at that stack. And so they're disordered, so targets in line 5 or 6. They got a 4, so no effect. And so then we have this stack here. It's going to fire here. They're still firing the same spot. So strength of 4. Let's see. Strength of 4. It's going to put them way over there. That's light though, so they're an open. Okay, put some here. 2. No effect. Okay. Then we go to this unit. This here is firing here. Strength of 3. Light infantry. Colonial, British open line. Okay, no effect. All right. And everybody else is too far away. So now we go to the shock combat. And the only shock combat we want to do is right here. Here against these units here, that stack. So let's see if I can get over the top. Okay, so we've got this unit here going to shock combat this stack. Okay, the stack is disordered. They've got a leader. And this, well, that unit has already taken a loss, only strength of 7. So they have a strength of 7, plus 5 is 12. Okay. This unit here is a strength of only 5. So that's going to be like 1 to 3. I don't think you can, I don't think they can attack. Now, if they're disordered, their strength might be halved. Let's see. Let me look at shock. maybe not. Now the defender does get to fire.
It's good down here.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about the rolls, but I happen to think I thought I seen some rolls in this.
Mm-hmm.
No, they were in there.
Yeah, I don't think you can shock attack at 1 to 3 odds. So we will put this back. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of the colonial turn. So now we go into the British phase. And we take a look at command. And they're not going to have any trouble activating everyone, because one thing is Cornwallis and Clinton both have a command range of 5. And then Erskine can activate 2 units, while Cornwallis and Clinton can activate 6, 5 and 6. So we've got, of course, he can activate Los, and Los activates this stack and then this group here. So Cornwallis can activate, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Erskine can activate this battery and this independent unit. And Clinton can activate these 3 units over here. So they're all activated. And they're all in command range. Okay. So next, we have the rally phase for the non-phasing player. So here, Lafayette can rally this unit. I don't think we even have to roll. I think it's just let's see. Here it is. A leader may rally a friendly unit with which it is stacked. A brigade leader may rally the units of his brigade that are within his command radius in the friendly rally phase. So, oops. So this group here, they rally back to column. Okay. We can reface them. We'll put Lafayette back in top. Now these two units here, I don't believe they can rally if they're in minimum enemy fire zone. Let's see. Have to go back over here to the introductory. Let's see. Where's that at? Yeah, a unit just recovers from disorder if it does not occupy a hex in a minimum range fire zone of an enemy unit. So they can't rally. But this unit over here, where Wayne's at, they do rally. So they're no longer disordered. Okay, so now we go to the next phase, which is the march phase. So here, the British need to decide where they want to really place a lot of emphasis on their attack. And of course, they want to attack over here. And so that's why these units are on the move. So actually, I can put these units into column so they can move faster. Okay. And then you can reface units. So I'm going to reface these Rangers, these Queen's Rangers, Dragoons, to race around to the flank. And same thing with this group here. They're going to turn to race around to that side. And let's see here. This battery, I think it'll just, yeah, it's gonna unlimber. And then these guys are all going to turn. To move that way. Okay. Now we can actually have the movement. You get that free formation change or facing change. So, all right, so here we're going to have this unit's going to move here. Okay. And then these guys could have charged into that into those guys there. So they can move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5, 6. That's 6. Let's see, facing. What's it cost? Only time you can change formation is in that formation facing option at the beginning. And let's see. Now when it changes facing, maybe it's just 1 point. I guess it's just 1 point to change. It's not per hex side or vertex, but just the whole thing. So, okay, so that was 6. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5, they were there. 5 and then 6. And boom, right there. Boom. Okay, so then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And then it'd have to turn 7. And then 8 right there. And so Cornwallis is right there. Okay, so these guys are moving 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Oops. So they moved to there. This unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Cornwallis is going to move right here with that unit. Okay. This artillery gun here. Let's see here. One. Should already turned it. Because with artillery you can change formation and facing. And, ooh. Let's see. I shouldn't have been able to. You can't change formation and facing all at one time. So these guys actually would have to move back 1 further back. Because I changed both their facing, I think, and their formation. Well, no, they were already going that direction. That's right. I didn't change their facing. Okay. So, but I didn't change this artillery, so I'll go ahead and make it cost 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's going to turn 5, Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. 1, 2. This one's got what? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And arc sign, we're going to move right there. All right. So now we have artillery fire. So let's roll to see who's... Okay, it's 1. So that would be the British. But guess what? The British artillery is limbered. So they don't get to fire. So we will now move to now this artillery, they have a minimum fire zone of 2 hexes, which means any unit that attempts to leave that, they get fired on. So, all right, we didn't have any of that happen though. But we do have the artillery fire now. So we've got this gun here. And I don't know that they can fire here. That village, I don't think that the villages really have any effect. They're not on the terrain chart. Clear, woods, lake, stream, bridge, hedgerow, slope, road, ran, tactical movement. Okay, so there's not there. So they can fire through that. So they could actually fire at this unit here. Of course, they got to fire at the top unit. So, and I think artillery, they have to be stacked together to fire together, I believe. When I'm going from one rule set to the other, I have to take my time. So we got the line of sight. Okay, only the top unit of a stack may fire. The unit's strength may never be divided. The unit may never fire through its flank or rear. But I was thinking artillery. You could stack them. Or you could fire with, if they're like adjacent. But it doesn't say that. It says the number of strength points / guns firing. So you could have up to 8. Well, there's not any counters that have a strength of 8 artillery-wise. Now, there are infantry. So, stacking limits the maximum of strength points guns that may occupy the same hex. Strength points / guns that may occupy the same hex. So you could have up to 16. But I guess you can only fire up to 8 out of that hex. But the rule is only the top unit can fire. I don't see anything about combining fire. Only the top unit of a stack may fire. Okay. So that'll be just a strength of 2, firing at. It's kind of hard to see that green counter. I mean, if I put this blue, I think I was using this blue. Okay, and then this red, like that. So, strength of 2, the range is 1, 2, 3. So we've got a range of 3. Target is light infantry. So that's open, British and open line. 3 is medium. Artillery, strength of 2. So, okay, got a pretty good chance of doing something here. 4, that's going to be a morale check. I have a 5, so they have to get a 6 to disorder a roll of 3. Okay, so now we're going to fire with this unit right here. They got a strength of 2. And they're going to have to fire at this unit because of the facing. So the range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be maximum range. And the target is just regular line. And artillery, we rolled a 3. That'll be a morale check. They have a 6. You'd have to roll a 6 to... I don't know why they gave him a 6. A 6, with a 6, even a 5, if they had a 5, it's someone's got a 5, it's got the same as a 6 because, well, not if when you're disordered, there's a difference. So when you're disordered now, they still have a 4 while the others have a 3. So, okay, that there makes sense. All right, and then we have the other artillery. Right here. And they're all going to fire right here at this target. So, see if I put it on top of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be a medium. Medium range. Okay, and they're firing at unit in the line. Strength of 2. And I got a 5. 5 is going to be a disorder. So that unit's disordered. And then they get fired on by this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, same thing. Ooh. Another 4. That's another disorder, but since they're disordered already, they lose a strength point. So, let's see. So now they have a strength of 5. But the way I do it with other games is I just put the number of losses. So I would put a 1 under there as 1 loss. That's what I did with that other unit. So I better stay with that unit. The rules say go with you would put a 5. I'm putting up a 1. That lets me know that they've taken 1 loss. And so their morale goes down. Okay, so instead of being a 6, it's now a 5. Plus they have this -2. So they've got a 3. And they passed. They rolled a 3. So, but they took a loss. All right, so now we'd have the reciprocal artillery fire, infantry fire. And it's a 5, which means the British get to fire first. And they want to start over here. And they're going to start with these dragoons there. The dragoons are going to fire on this unit here. So we've got a strength of 6. So a dragoon, strength of 6. And they're in colonial and open line. I got a 5. Got to get a 6. Wow. Okay, it's no effect. And then these colonials can fire back at this cavalry target. Firing at dragoons, they've got a strength of 4. Open line. Same be over there. Oh, wow. No effect. Okay, so then we move. So we move to the next British unit. Yeah, with these units being all in here tight, I really can't use those discs. I need to get, I'm gonna have to get I'm gonna have to get the little blocks that I use like this and the blue one. I gotta find a blue one. All right, a little bit of a pause there, but that's all right. We're back with some other stuff. So, okay, this is what I wanted to use with my little blocks. All right, so we did the dragoons. Now we want to go with this unit here and this unit. And so let's pull this back a little bit. Okay, so we can see all of that. Do we need to get closer? Not that close. There we go. All right, so the British fire first. Strength of 7. And the colonials are in open line. So, okay, so that's infantry line. And that is line. Okay, and they've got, what, 7? Yeah, wow, they're going to be on the farthest column. I got a 2. Okay, so that's no effect. Wow. Okay, so the British, they don't have to fire here. They can fire here at this stack here. It's already disordered. But they're not going to. They're going to fire at the unit that fired at them. They're in line. The colonials are strength of 5, and they're in open line. So they're going to be there. I rolled a 1. I don't think that's going to, yeah, no effect. All right, so then we go to this disordered stack. Okay, and they're gonna fire right there. All right. And when they're disordered, they're just on the first column, the 1 through 5. 1 through 5. Now, whether their strength is 1 or 8, they're in that first row. So, all right. So, I guess we'll both of these together. In case we have a morale check. Ooh, rolled 1, so no effect. Okay, and so now we have this disordered unit here, firing here. Got a 4. They're firing it. Let's see, are they going those guys in line? I mean, are they just? Yeah, they're not independent units or light infantry. So rolled a 4. Okay, no effect. Had to get a 5 or a 6. All right, so now this unit here is going to fire here. Ooh, they got a 6. So they're firing an open, Colonial's open line. They're light through their open line, with their strength of 4, and I rolled a 6. Okay, so they are going to disorder, which means they're going to take a loss. And they're going to have to roll their morale. So they take a loss. So their morale was 3. They take a loss. It's now 3. And they have -2. So they're going to have to get a 1. And they got a 5. So they are going to be routed and have to retreat 3 hexes. Go ahead and turn them over. 2, 3. Okay. Now this disordered unit is going to fire here. Got a 2, no effect. Okay. And then now this independent unit, light infantry, they're going to fire here. That's their maximum range. They've got a strength of 4. Okay, they got a 5. Strength of 4. Okay, they had to get a 6. Okay. So no effect there. And that's going to be it. No one else is going to be within range. So that's all of the fire. Now we can have the shock combat. And so we've got this Dragoon unit is attacking that 3rd Maryland unit right there. Okay, so the odds are 6 to 4. So, yeah, that's going to be at 150%. One and a half to 1. And the morale differential is 4 to 3, so it's a +1. So a +1. Okay, we got a 5. Okay, so it's going to be a DR. Okay. Disordered and retreat 3 hexes. One, two, three, and they're disordered. And then this unit can advance in there. And when they advance, I think they can change their facing. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so before we have that happen, the this colonial militia, colonial unit would be able to fire on that unit. So we got to do that first. So that's a strength of 4. That's before they're disordered. So we have a strength of 4. Okay, firing at a dragoon unit at open line at minimum range. They rolled a 3, strength of 4, no effect. Okay, so I forgot to add that step in. 2, 3, they're disordered, and then advance after combat. Okay, let's see. Okay, it says at the conclusion of a successful shock attack, the attacker may face in any direction. Didn't say that they advance though. Well, yeah, they've got to go into the hex because they're attacking the hex. So they do move in, and then they can change their facing. So they could actually change like that. That might open them up though to a flank attack. So they're going to stay as they were. Like this. All right. So the next shock attack is right here. All right. So we've got that unit. So we got 7 to 5. That's not quite 1 to 1 to 1.5 to 1. It's actually going to round down to 1 to 1. Okay. However, the morale differential is 5 to 3, so that's a +2. But the colonials get to fire first. They have a strength of 5. Okay. Open line, minimum range, and they're firing at a unit in line. Oh, I rolled a 6. Okay. That's going to be a disorder. Okay. So, okay, so they're disordered. Okay. So they have a morale of now a 3. So they don't get that plus 2 differential. It's just even. Even, straight up even. They rolled a 3. Okay. So the attacker is disordered and has to retreat. Let's see what it is. Lose 1 strength point and retreat 3 hexes. Okay. So the attacker, 1, 2, 3. Let's show you where they went. Went right back to here, and they lose a strength point. And then the defender, let's see here, they are disordered. And now we've got this stack that can attack. And we're using all of the units there. So we've got 7 and 5, that's 12. But wait a minute. I don't know that, I gotta make sure here. I don't know if a unit that's disordered can shock attack. Guess they can. I think it's, yeah, I think it's just routed units can't. Well, doesn't say that a disordered unit can't. So, all right, so we're going to have that. So that's 12 against 5. So that's 2 to 1, be 200%. And then they have a morale of 1. These guys here with loose adds 1. So they only have to subtract 1. So they have a 4. So 4, that's going to be a plus 3. So we're at 2 to 1, which on the chart is looked upon as 200%. 200%. I'll just bring it over here. Okay, so it's 300%, 200%. That's 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 1.5 to 1, even. This is 2 to 3, and then 1 to 2. And the morale differential. So we're at 200% with a plus 3. Okay. So we roll, and we get a 5. Okay. So if we take a look here, 200%. Okay. Here's the 5. So we come across to a plus 3, and we get a /R. Now the unit is already disordered. So we come here where it says already disordered, and we go to R. Okay, and it says lose 1 strength point, route, retreat 3 hexes. Now I like this in the fact that it gives you, okay, if they're in good order, this happens. If they're in disorder, this happens. If they're routed, this happens. That's an interesting way to handle the result. You know, a unit that's in disorder is going to take that defeat or whatever differently than a unit that's in good order. So they have to take a loss. And they're routed, and they retreat 3 hexes. So we give them their loss. Okay, I'll go ahead and flip them over. And so they've got their loss. They're here, 1, 2, 3, right there. And we flip them over. Okay, so now units that were adjacent to them, okay, which is not this unit. So I guess, I already had a hole there, I guess. So they were here, 1, 2, okay, so there's nobody there. But if there's anybody close, they have to do a morale check. And I should have done a morale check right here when this unit right there was forced back. But I didn't. That was my mistake. You've got to, if there's units that are adjacent to a unit that routes or is forced to retreat, they have to do a morale check. I think I was that like that. All right, so these units can move in. And I guess I'll tell you what, I'm not going to move. Well, I guess I have to. I have to move them all in. Like that. Okay. And then we have right here, we've got these units going to assault. I think these guys were here. They weren't there. They were right there. Okay. So these 2 units are attacking here. Now they get to fire. Okay. So this unit is firing at these guys. So they have a strength of 3, but the thing is they're disordered. So they're going to be on the disordered column. Okay. You find any disordered unit, and this is the column they're going to be on. And then we have A, B, C. A is for artillery, B is for British units, C is for colonial. And then we just come down till we find the target, okay, class that's listed over here. Pretty simple. It's easy to define what's what. So that's a light infantry. So British in open line is going to be here in this row. So we roll the dice and we get a 1. Well, the 1 it means that they're ineffective. So we go find the colonials. We go down to the British in open line, and we have just a dash, which means no effect. Okay. So now we have the actual assault, shock combat. And let's pull in here kind of close here. So we get, okay, so this unit being assaulted or shock combat by this unit here, that's 7 against 3. So that's going to be 200% again, 2 to 1. Their morale is just a -2 is a 1, to 5, so that's a +4. Rolled a 3. Okay, a +4 is going to be a let's see, a morale check for the attacker and a strength point loss. Okay, so they take a hit, and now they've got to check their morale. They rolled a 6, so they become disordered. Just disordered. The defender, who's already disordered, okay, got a DR result. So they're going to lose a strength point. Let's see. And then retreat 3 hexes. And so they're going to retreating right through these guys, which is going to cause those guys to take a morale check. Well, they've got to do a morale check anyways because they're adjacent to these guys. So that's 2 morale checks basically. One because these guys are running past them, and another because they're adjacent to them. I mean, they run through them, and then the others because they're adjacent. Maybe they just become disordered. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be on the retreat section here. Let's see what it does. I thought they do a morale check. Oh no, it just immediately disorders those units. Okay. So they take a loss. What happens with the loss? Okay. So they take a loss, and then they retreat through these guys. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3. And so they're going to be right there to get the loss with them. But I can still face them. They can still be faced this way. They're just disordered. But they're going to disorder this other stack. So this stack is disordered, and now they have to make a roll because they were adjacent to a unit that retreated. So I got a 4, and they've got a -2. So they are going to rout. So, okay. The gun, however, doesn't rout. It's just the infantry and the crew. So what we have is we've got to get a crew. So we get a crew, and then we have to match up with one of the artillery units here. That's A. There's B. Okay. But what happens is, oh, no, they were there. The gun stays, but the crew and the unit rout. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And these guys are already past that, so. And then, of course, these guys move in to here. And I don't know where they did. Yeah, I guess they disordered. I had that disordered marker there. So I guess they did. All right, so the colonial right has disintegrated. And Maxwell is going to have to form a new line there. But of course, he doesn't want to get in the way of those routing units. So the colonials just their morale is lower, so they can't stand to face these British regulars. So that completes that turn. So that puts us into the 11 o'clock turn, which is now where we are with the GMT game. So we pull back. Okay, we've got the colonial right disintegrating here, which is going to, one of two things. Wayne is going to have to be aggressive and attack the British here to try to turn their flank and maybe create a line diagonally across here and cut the British off from their retreat communications also. The communication goes right through that hex. So, which they could reach it by just going that direction, but units can't leave the map. If they get to the edge and are forced back, then they lose a strength point. So that's what we've got going there. And then if we look to the GMT side, to see what's happening. We've got well, actually, we've got the 10 o'clock turn still. So this, we're at the 10 o'clock turn here. And so we'll have the 10 o'clock turn here, and then we'll be even with the SPI. They'll both be at 11. And so this 10 o'clock turn, we're going to have some reinforcements coming in. And they just all come in right here. So you got Cornwallis with Erskine and some other units here. They're all coming in on this hex. So they're going to be coming streaming in on in this area here. And so we'll see how the colonials are able to deal with that. So they're going to have to, well, in the woods area here, they've got a pretty good chance of holding. It's going to be down here around Monmouth that they've got to be careful about getting outflanked. I guess they could worry about here, but there's a lot of rougher terrain on the north side, the British right. And so here we've got that, what is it, the Colt's Neck that we had You know, this is the Colt's neck here, this triangle here. But so the next video, we're going to be taking a look at what happens at 10 o'clock here on the GMT Monmouth Courthouse battle. Presently, we've got an even morale count of 18. No one has acquired any momentum chits, markers, whatever you want to call them. So we've got to roll to see what happens with the command. With this game, you've got these charts here that you roll to see whose command's affected. It's the command and control, and so we're on turn 5. So we're going to be down here in this section. So if we close up right there, we can see what we've got. And so what we do is we roll the dice. Happened to my blue die. Thought I had a blue 10-sided die here. Guess I'll just have to use the purple one there. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so the blue would identify which leader, and then the red die will tell us what happens. All right, so we got a 1. That means Jackson and Maxwell, and a 6 means we're going to have a counter march. So Jackson and Maxwell are actually going to be turning and going the opposite direction. And this is something that happened during the battle. So we'll have to figure out which units those are. And we go to the, let's see here, that's not it. We got to find the book here that, okay. So Jackson and what did it say? Jackson and Maxwell. So we're going to have Maxwell. So it's going to be these units here that right here, all these units here. So Jackson's detachment, and then these units here underneath Maxwell's command. So it'll be the 1st New Jersey, 2nd New Jersey, 3rd New Jersey, 4th New Jersey. And then the Somerset County Light Horse. So oh, we're going to have the New Jersey guys. So we look at the map, see if we can find those guys. Right here. First New Jersey, second New Jersey, third New Jersey, fourth New Jersey, right there. So these guys here are going to counter march, and then Somerset. Where's his artillery at? I don't see it. But we've already got some units that are heading the wrong direction. This unit here, those guys, and these guys are all going to, I guess, see these guys coming, so they're going to turn around. Maybe it's Randall that's going to be turning around, maybe. We'll figure that out. But so there that is. That's gonna affect some things. So we'll be sure we put that there. We put that here, and that way we know. So all right. So that next video, that's what we're gonna have. So with the SPI, we've got the colonial right has collapsed, and Lee is going to have to try to figure out what he's going to do about it.